Welcome all to Coach Jacksonville, where we talk about everything that coaches need to know and want to know. And it's an exciting time to be a coach. I've seen the process over the last 28 years that I've been doing this. And it's interesting how it ebbs and flows and how people come in, people leave, and then they come back in. So this is going to be an interesting process, I think, to hear from everybody on just where they are in their business, in the business of coaching. I would like for each of you to introduce yourself so that everybody in the room will know who's in the room. Everybody online will know who's in the room and online. So I'm going to start just to set the tone. I'm Doug Wilder, Wilder Success. Wilder Business Success is my business, and I've been doing it 28 years. I have it's morphed from different iterations, but now my main focus is on attorneys, as it has been for 24 years. Honest attorneys that want to make boatloads of money. And I'm also working with another area of focus is the sons, sometimes the daughters, the children of CEOs, where the CEOs want to groom their children to stay in the business. And so that otherwise, if they fired them, it would make an awkward Thanksgiving dinner. So that's what we're working on. And it's working very, very well, 78% of the time, turning the kids around. So Heidi, go with you next, and we'll just go around the room, all right?
All right. I am Heidi Aderman, and I work with busy professionals not getting the right stuff done. So they're really busy with this or that, multiple projects, serial entrepreneurs, that kind of thing, and a project starts dominating their time. So, okay, they start to skip lunch. Okay, now they're only getting 4 hours of sleep at night. Okay, I don't have time to make dinner, so we're ordering out again. And oh yeah, their family wonders where they are. So eventually, if this goes on long enough, it becomes a habit. And they start to wonder, like, why does it seem like I'm not getting anything done on my list anymore? Why am I so tired all the time? Well, I help busy professionals come up with a better, efficient process of building a foundation of good habits around mindset, physical health, how are you feeling your body, and relationships. And once you get a good basis built up from your habits there, then it becomes a lot easier to do the other creating in your life, the projects that you're working on, the stuff that you're doing with work. And I do that by gamifying the process and making it a whole lot more fun than what people usually think when they're making New Year's resolutions. So I'm also Doug's first certified Wilder coach. And so I also do business coaching with that. And I'm Heidi Aderman, and my company is Heidelin Coaching.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks, Heidi. I'm Wendy Epstein, and I am Mindful Motivation Coaching is my company. I am new in coaching. I've been in sales for 40 years. I currently sell life insurance. And this year, my daughter was diagnosed with cancer. She's 28. And selling life insurance and talking about cancer all day, every day has been rough. And I always wanted to be a therapist or a coach. And my cousin, who is a therapist in Chicago, finally urged me to coach. And so I went through a certification. A friend of mine in Atlanta, which is where I moved from, suggested I go through her course, which I did, and I became certified October, but I work insane hours in life insurance, and especially this and last year with COVID. So I'm working on my own time management with my coach, because that's part of what so my niche is women over 50 who are in transition, either divorced, widowed, or empty nesters. Obviously, if they were downsized from a job, they may or may not have enough money for my coaching program, but that's another area that I could help if they do. And it's most about, like when you're faced with being widowed or divorced. There's financial, there's time management. I know when my younger daughter went off to college, I was new in Jacksonville because I moved here so that she could get in-state tuition in Florida school, so she could go to law school.
Mhm.
She's a future lawyer. She's in her
Yay.
last year, but not here in Florida. She's on a full
Never mind.
scholarship. She's on a full scholarship
Uh-huh.
in Mercer-Macon. So I
Oh,
think she's
great.
gonna stay in Georgia. Both my girls are in Georgia, so, but I'm here. And so basically talk about financial time management, the emotional side of your youngest child going away changes everything.
Mhm.
And mostly about abundance and how to live a more abundant life.
Yes, yes. Wow. Good. Thank you.
Okay.
Fletch.
Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to meet you today. My name is Fletch, and I have the least creative name. My company is Fletch.coach, and I am a business and a life coach. And my specialty, or my niche, or my niche, whichever you'd like to call it, would be in real estate sales. However, I use the tagline, I help you find and equip you to take your next right step. What I've learned in coaching is that business and life are inextricable. You cannot improve your business without improving your life, nor vice versa. So I take a holistic, individual approach. With anyone I am privileged to coach.
Mhm.
So that is my story, and I'll stick to it.
You are sticking to it. Yes. Good. Thank you. Caroline.
Hi, I'm Caroline. I'm Doug's Director of Marketing. I'm not a coach, so my niche is just Doug.
I love it.
Well, that's not true. I also work with Chad and Greg.
Okay,
I work with Carmen.
That's true. That's true. You want to have any announcements for me?
Just as always, we have the Wilder Wisdom subscription, and we're doing a special 90-day free trial for our $5 plan, which gets you a weekly Wilder Wisdom Wednesday video in your inbox with a little bit of wisdom from Doug. It's 90 days. It's normally $5 a month.
Mhm.
You get it for free.
So Caroline had set the whole thing up, and so all my success I owe to Caroline. So thank you very much. Good, good. Why don't we go online since we're just going around the table? So Bob, can we start off with you?
Unmute, Bob.
And I can't hear you, Bob.
He's muted.
There you go.
Nope, still red.
You'll get it. All right. Mute button. There we
There we
go.
go.
Okay.
My name is Bob Celery. I'm fairly new to Jacksonville. I worked in executive search in New York City and Washington, D.C. For most of my career. I did some coaching as an accommodation to some of our clients when one of their employees needed coaching in various areas. I'd like to use my search experience to begin a coaching business here in Jacksonville. I've done independent research about jobs, compensation, and careers in the nonprofit sector, which was the area that I worked in executive search. And I've also published a paper about leadership and management, how to lead and let others manage.
Beautiful. Good, good. Thank you very much. Laura, I see you down there. Can you describe yourself?
Yes, I'm Laura Bennett. My first career was in the military. I served for 20 years as a Navy nurse and nurse midwife, and the multitude of other things that we do in the military. At the end of my career, I did a lot of work on burnout and developing resiliency programs around burnout. And all of my programs were mindfulness and positive psychology based. Kind of launched that and did mindfulness based resiliency programs in some sort of niche areas, corporate, military, healthcare, law enforcement, to name some. And I did some community based programs and found that as I moved into coaching, it felt a lot like therapy. And as a non-practicing but licensed healthcare provider, I wanted to make sure I stayed on the coaching side of this work. So I went on to a fantastic program at the University of Texas. And also at that time did a master's in leadership and organizational development. So, you know, niche, I'm burnout. I have expertise in burnout. I would say a burnout expert, both personally and organizationally. My focus areas are healthcare leaders, attorneys, and other people in the justice system and military. So people who make decisions that affect life, death, and liberty. I come from a trauma-aware, trauma-responsive practice. So in these areas, I think that that's pretty critical. And then as I have a philanthropic sort of arm for, I like to work with marginalized populations, people doing grassroots social justice efforts, and such. So that I am also the president of a different coaching organization, the International Coaching Federation, here in the North Florida chapter in Jacksonville.
Good. Yeah, do you want to say when the next ICF meeting is?
Yeah, actually, if you want to, so we have a Wednesday next week is used to be called Wind Down Wednesday, but we do a Zoom call. It used to be in person, but currently we're doing a Zoom call monthly in the fourth Thursday of every month are our chapter meetings, and typically those are continuing education events. So you can earn continuing education credit. And then more recently, I've started some outdoor activities so that we could gather in person together safely in the COVID environment. So Saturday, we'll be meeting at Deck the Chairs, and Sunday, I'll be leading an end of year reflection and meditation at Memorial Park, along with a fire ceremony. If you've never been to a fire ceremony, I encourage you to come on out. So I'm also a yoga teacher.
So it sounds like a busy life.
But you can find those events on the chapter website, icfnorthflorida.com.
Great. Okay, thank you. Carmen, let's hear from you.
Hi, I'm Carmen Rivera, and I'm calling in from the Port Orange area. So I'm also very grateful that we have Zoom, as you all know, since it takes me about an hour and a half whenever to go there for lunch meetings. So I've been down here in the Port Orange area since 2001. And that's when I got, also in 2001 is when I was certified as an ontological coach with the New Field Network. So for the last 20 years, I've been working as a life coach, and I work with people who are stuck, basically, when there's any blocks in their movement or their goals or they want to do. So it's really, it could be they want to get to a different place in their workplace, or maybe they want to start their own business. So they're stuck as far as relationships, whatever it is. So it's getting them unstuck. And because it's ontological, it looks at both not only actions you take, but your thoughts, your emotions. It looks at, it's a holistic approach to helping a person move on in their lives instead of being stuck. I look at mindfulness. As a matter of fact, the tagline of my company is creating mindfulness, discovering joy. And the company is called New Insights. And I started the company back in 1986. So it's been 35 years. And it was at that time called Applied Training International, because my focus is primarily in human relations and human development. So I do a lot of workshops on the human relation skills throughout the country and the world. I used to travel a lot, 2 or 3 weeks out of every month. I now do everything by Zoom. And so I courses like management, leadership, As a matter of fact, on Wednesday, I start a class on emotional intelligence. And next week, I do a class on diversity. So those are two courses that I really like to go in deeply. I've been in the industry of human relations or human potential since 1969. So that's been 52 years that I've been working in helping people become joyful, become more effective, and compassionate in their lives. So the coaching, which did in 2001, was just an extension. I thought, oh, new century, let me move into a different kind of area, but still helping people, because my workshops were, of course, working with people in large groups. So I would do group trainings that are 2, 3, 4 days long. And now I do one-on-one. I'm somewhat semi-retired because I don't travel as much and I don't take on as many workshops as I used to take, and I don't have as many clients. So it's really kind of, I pick and choose whenever I want to work. So that's basically it now. It's about once a month instead of 2 or 3 weeks out of the month. I have a master's in education. My background is psychology and sociology. Like I said, I've always been doing something with human relations training. And before I moved down here to the Florida area, I lived in the Washington, D.C. area for almost 40 years. So I've been doing this a long time. And in next month, I'll be 76. I'm excited. I'm still here. Yes. So that's who I am.
I love it.
Thank
Good,
you.
good. Thank you very much. June.
I'm June Carter. My business is Gist Solutions. It is Get Your Stuff Together, GYST. I just want to apologize. I have to be rude. My very elderly mother in New York had a near-death weekend, and I'm watching the texts. The big family there taking care of things, but I do need to watch those texts as they come in. Anyway, so I have a kind of a circuitous route to coaching. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Interior Design, and I spent 40 years in New York doing commercial office design. I'm moving to Amelia Island in 2000, was 6 years ago. First house we bought about 9 years ago. I was like, what am I going to do here? How am I using this skill set in Amelia Island? And I found home staging. Okay, got very deeply involved in home staging. And through home staging, I got involved with professional organizing. So I'm a certified professional organizer. I'm deeply involved with the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals. I'm on the board of the International Association of Home Staging Professionals, and I teach home staging and I coach home stagers. So many professional organizers become coaches because I can make a space really pretty, but if I haven't done anything to affect lasting change, all I did was make it pretty. I'd work with people, I'd go back the following week and it'd be worse. So, and I no longer do hands-on organizing. Physically, it just doesn't work for me anymore. I did enough garages. The school that I go to, Coach Approach for Organizers, you have to be a professional organizer to go to the school. I'm an ACC level coach. It's Certified Productivity Coach is the specific certification that I have. And what I did was I started off specializing in home stagers. I saw a niche, there's a lot of people think, oh, I can make that living room pretty. I'm fluffing the pillows. They really have no idea what they're getting into. And they all start off with thinking it's a business issue and it's always personal. So at the beginning of COVID, you may have all found this, my business went through the roof. I couldn't keep up with it. And then around May of this year, it tanked. It was almost like the benefits people were getting ran out. If they were going to take a class or do something, they did it already. It just died in the beginning of the summer. And now I'm finding it's all the way back again. So I also coach a lot of people in Fernandina Beach, almost always business owners, because I'm very active in the Chamber of Commerce there and a networking group. And I kind of said, I'm going to focus on my demographic. And I coach home stagers all over the world. I do group as well as individual. But what I've noticed is in the last 6 months or so, almost every one of them have said to me, I just got diagnosed ADHD. I just got diagnosed ADD, as did my daughter, which explains a lot. And the school I go to has a specialty. They have a specialty in leadership and productivity and also ADD and ADHD. And I kept saying, why is this coming to me? So as I am working towards my PCC level certification, I'm going to become a certified ADD ADHD coach because it's just coming to me. It's just in my path. I can't deny it. And what I found with all the home stagers is they have this huge right brain. We want to be creative, and then they don't engage their left brain. So they're exhibiting ADD symptoms, maybe yes or no being ADD, ADHD, but I'm already working in that world. You know, like, oh, look at my pretty pictures. I haven't done an invoice in 3 months. You know, that's the kind of behavior pattern, which again, may or may not be ADD, ADHD, but they exhibit the patterns. So I'm looking forward to a really unique future in that niche. And I'm just having a ball. And I used to come when you had this meeting across the street.
Sure, that's right.
Yeah, and then of course, COVID changed everything.
it
So thank you for doing this.
Well, I'm glad we were able to figure out how to do it. Yeah,
Yes, thank you.
yeah, good. Good. Yeah.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is T.R. Richardson. I founded richwoodinternational.com. We're a professional speaker coaching, and executive training practice. I, like June, live in Nassau County as well. I live in Yulee. Actually, I was in Fernandina this weekend. At an event out there. There was a lot going on.
The parade.
The parade, yeah, there was a business fair out there that I attended out there with a $1,000 startup. So I just started this probably a couple of months ago. So I'm still finding my way. Right now, it seems like the interest of my target market, as far as the speaker coaching goes, out of the 3 things that we do, is mid-level, executive level, corporate level management. Our specialty is really helping individuals make sense of their ideas and have a more impact with their audience. So it doesn't really matter if it's someone who's like me, who's a professional speaker. We can work with them on having a better presentation, outlining their ideas and presenting them better. Or if it's someone who, like I mentioned, is in a corporate level, maybe they just want to articulate what's in their head and put all those individual puzzle pieces together in a way that makes sense for their bosses, for their coworkers, for their colleague, so that they can be seen a certain way. That's what it seems like the target market is for now. However, I had some interesting conversations with some people this weekend, some lawyers and some other individuals, about maybe branching off into, for the lawyers, helping their clients get prepared for trial and present themselves in a way, because when we walk in, what we say isn't the only way that we communicate. It's also the way that we say it. It's also your tone, your inflection, your body language. That's a big communicator. So that seems like something that may be of interest that I want to look into. And then also we spoke with the military. I spoke with some people from the military about maybe going and finding some potential grants and contracts there as well. So I'm still working my way. I'm a fresh cracked egg, like we were talking about earlier, Fletch. I haven't spread my wings yet. But my plan is to back myself into success. So I'm here, I'm meeting people, I'm shaking hands and letting people know what I do, why I do it, why it's important to me, and why it could be potentially important to them. Looking for partnerships, connections, experience, because I realize that even though I know these things, I also don't know what I don't know. And it's always good to learn from people. I'm a lifelong learner, and I turn around and I transition and I transmit that learning to my clients, because I'm about creating win-win situations. So pleasure to meet everyone. That's why I'm here in person and on the Zoom. Pleasure to meet you.
Good.
Say that website again.
richwoodinternational.com.
International spelled out.
International spelled out. That's me. Let me know what you think, because like I said, I just started this a couple months ago. And I just had this website created a couple weeks ago, in total transparency. But let me know what you think.
Good. I'll have my marketing director take a look at it.
All right. Okay. I appreciate it.
So by January 1st, you'll be international, I'm sure.
You know what? Backing myself into success.
There you go.
Let's do it.
Well, you're
Let's do
listening.
it.
You're listening. Hi, my name is Joe. The only reason I'm here is because I know him for a long, long time. I'm not really a coach, but I use coaching all the time to help my clients. My clients are usually trying to do something and they're encountering the government, regulations, or other things, and they can't get it done, or they damn well know they shouldn't even try to get it done themselves. And so I get stuff done. Okay. So with that in mind, it's amazing, how often you have to hold hands and work with their minds and help them try to learn so they don't get in the same problem the second time, the third time. So, oh, my latest endeavor is, if you look at my business card, it's Build a Better Jacksonville. So, I'm like you, I want to be powerful in what I accomplish.
Amen.
So pray for me, guys. This is probably the hardest project I've ever encountered. Thank you.
Excellent, very exciting. Good. Good. So are there any announcements? We're going to have a picture taken first of all.
I'm
How
gonna
do
take
you-
some trash from everybody first.
Yes, okay.
Do you recycle?
Jacksonville
I did
doesn't
what you did, I
recycle
took it
anymore.
apart.
Yeah, I-
I'm gonna drop it off at a
So what
center.
did you do before?
Are you sure they ever did it?
Before coaching, I did corporate
exactly.
training and professional
Yeah,
speaking.
that was
Oh, perfect. Sure, yeah.
And when I was fresh out of college a few years ago, I actually found out about this coaching space and I went and got certified as a certified professional coach. So that's kind of
You already got
started
that.
my journey
Yeah.
along the way. So I always have that background and that foundation.
Oh, yes,
And I always
ma'am.
kind of stick to it. So that's how it is here.
Have you got involved in the Chamber of Commerce?
So as a part of I'm in the $1,000 startup
Okay.
program. You know Leah? Yeah, so she runs that program, and as a part of it, we're gonna get a chamber membership for the year, so.
Go to all the chamber stuff.
I sure will.
I'm just waiting whether or not I should cancel something and go to the luncheon on Thursday. But go to the
Is it
chamber.
open to visitors?
All right, if our online people can look at their cameras, not at their screens, and give us a smile. We're gonna take the photo in 3, 2, 1. Excellent, thank you, everyone.
Can you send that to us?
It'll be posted on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Great.
And I will send around links to all of our guests. today.
Okay, and what's the Facebook?
Wilder Business Success.
Okay,
And it's the same on LinkedIn, and on Twitter, it's Doug Wilder.
Can't they go to coachjacks.org also and get to it?
No.
No. Coachjacks.com.
The Wilder Success website has links to all our social media.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
I think the Coach Jacks, we were trying to make it not Doug branded.
Yes,
And we don't have a specific Coach Jacks Facebook page.
okay. Interesting.
You're in charge of this.
No.
She's the director.
No.
That's right.
Let your leaders lead.
Yeah. When I hired Caroline,
I thought
was
about that
2.5
with
years
my
ago,
company that I work with
uh,
now.
hired her as the marketing assistant. And it
They
was
need
within 3 months that a friend of mine came to me and said, Doug, she is not your assistant. She's your director. She directs you on what to do. So therefore you should give her a new title. So she became the marketing director at that point, and she's held that ever since. So.
Way to be coachable.
And part of the challenge for me was to let go and say, okay, great. If I'm going to grow beyond me, I need to have others. I want to have others take over their certain roles and move things forward. And so it's interesting. Heidi and I were on a call together with an attorney, and she was making comments that I would not have made. I remember with one potential client, she said, "Oh, lovely earrings. Oh, tell me about those earrings." I would never talk about a woman's earrings before. It was just not. It doesn't. Not only would I not notice, but I wouldn't say anything about it.
And you probably shouldn't.
And I probably should. Thank you. Okay, good. Yeah, the 2 thumbs up from Laura. Don't say anything. So the idea then is growing beyond yourself is a wonderful thing, and letting go then is obviously great. So I've distributed. Can we send this to the online people also? Okay, great. What you're going to get is an outline of some of the things I'm going to be talking about. And we've already started with what is your niche. So I've sort of gotten a good idea about that. I think that that's a good place to start. And then so the next big question I have is, what does success mean to your coaching practice? TR, international, global recognition of, oh my gosh, if you have an idea that you want to spread, you come to TR. I think that's sort of what I'm hearing you say. And so, what does success mean to each of you? And if you can just do a real quick round the table of what does success mean to you? What do you think it would be?
As far as personally or professionally?
Great question. Are they different?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I think they're kind of intertwined, like two circles that touch each other,
Yes,
but they also have
yes.
separate points.
Okay, good. Well, okay, so why don't you give us those two circles?
So for me, personally, success means helping people, me having an impact by helping others have an impact. Kind of like a form of servant leadership, if you will. Personally, what that means is I get to leave a legacy.
Yeah.
For myself, I want to have something that I could pass down for my children. So maybe one day they'll need someone like you to help their children stay in place, and because they're CEOs and they have a business that they can run, things like that. So I want to be able to leave something tangible to them.
Right. Good. And are you hearing that online, Carmen? Can you hear? Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. And by the way, well said. You must be in the right business. Good. Who else has, what does success mean to you?
I'll go. So in third grade, I decided that I wanted to be a rock star.
Oh, cool.
And in 2015, I finally got to the point where I was opening for some national acts and hanging out backstage as a peer instead of just a fan. And so while I'm backstage with all of them, I'm like, okay, so how do you guys tour? How does this work? Like, how does this even happen? And they all said, you need to find a job that you could work from anywhere. And that's how we do it financially. And during that time, the album that I released that year, all of the lyrics really have to do with my self-growth and my own work with coaching. And I realized that I would never, ever run out of material for my songs as long as I was working on life coaching. And the reaction that I got from my fans from that music was getting the result that I wanted, because I feel like my purpose is to use my music to reach people when they're in their dark places, when they're alone, so that they know that they're not, and they can find that hope that they need to change. And so by pursuing my own dreams, I want to set the example as a coach that no matter what you're up against, you can release that creation that's inside of you and live the life that you want. So it's twofold. I get what I want from helping other people get what they want.
Love it.
Exciting. Wow. Good. It's inspirational. Wendy, do you have any?
I do. So my original plan when I decided to finally take this leap was that by my 65th birthday, which is 2 years from January, that I would be able to travel anywhere in the world with my laptop and my phone and be my own boss. Because in the insurance job that I chose, I am a W-2. I have to be clocked in from X hour to X hour. I actually took 3 hours off today to be here. That like I'm ready to launch. And I feel like I'm tethered. That's the word I use, tethered to my desk. And our company went public last year. We went from 60 agents on my team to 360. They're adding another 130 this month. And it's just, I'm not a name anymore. I was number 3 out of 60 last year. And I'm like, I'm just a number. And it feels like they don't care if I sell life insurance to someone who, it's just, that's the feeling I'm getting, and
Sure.
it's not aligning with who I am. So what I saw as what does success mean to me in my coaching practice is getting to that point way sooner than January of 2024. By the way, my date keeps moving up, but getting paid for what I've been doing naturally for many, many years. I am the person everyone comes to about everything.
Mhm.
And I've been sober since June of 2008. And
Congratulations.
this is crazy. I told Heidi this. My younger brother has 6 more years than me, and he decided to get his coaching license in the same program I did.
Wow.
So we coached, he lives in Chicago still, I'm here. We coached with my friend that teaches coaches in Atlanta over Zoom, which is what was great about it. And so that's the other thing. I can be international. I have friends in the UK and Spain and whatever, because Zoom has allowed us to, I used Zoom way before, COVID, but man, did it help, me stay alive during COVID. And my daughter's, cancer, I couldn't be in Atlanta for her surgeries. Thank God for being able to FaceTime or Zoom. So getting paid for what I've already been doing naturally, and especially, over the years of my sobriety, helping other women to, discover why they are, how they are, and now I can get paid for it. So.
Wow, that's inspirational.
Yes.
Good. It sounds like you got some good DNA going in your family too.
Our dad died at 44 of a heart attack, and we think he was probably, yeah. So we both want to live a lot longer.
Right. Excellent. I love it.
Thank you.
That's great. Fletch,
I'll go next.
Yes,
Is that
Carmen.
okay?
Yes.
Success means to me what I am doing now. I am semi-retired. I can travel anywhere I want to. I'm going to Costa Rica for my 10th year in February of 2022. I miss this year, but for the last 9 years, I go down there for professional and personal development for a week. And this year, 2022, I'm going to go for 2 weeks. I'm going to Italy in June, all for workshops. But they're just held in other countries. And so I become the participant, and I get to expand my own growth and development, no matter how old I am. So for me, success is not only being able to choose what I do with my days, but also know that I've made a difference in many, many people's lives. I kind of one day tried to figure out how many people I've been in my training classes, and I would say somewhere between 50 and 60,000 people I've touched in my life as a facilitator of adult education and training since I started doing all of this in 1969. So that's success is changing the world one person at a time, for people to be compassionate and caring and respectful of each other, and also living the life, whatever I choose to do every day, and be mindfully grateful for everything that I have.
Love it. It's very powerful. Good. June?
I actually been working on this with my coach lately. I want to work from 9:30 to 3, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. My husband is a failure at retirement. He will, but he will work. He looks like on assignments. I'm sorry. Like my family is a little nuts right now. He will work like a month on, a month off, and he'll go for another year, and then he's going to stop. And what I found with a series of hurricanes here in New York, they follow us, is I love him. I don't want to be locked in the house with him indefinitely. So I will always work. My mother worked as a college professor and a therapist until she was 83 or so. I will probably in a year eliminate my home staging business, sell my inventory. My knees can't do it anymore. I'm crippled for 2 days afterwards. I want to keep the income level I'm at, but do it strictly through coaching. And I'm another one who wants to work while I travel. We want to go live in Costa Rica for a month. We're going there in February. We want to go live in Vancouver for a month. We want to go test out, and I can just take it and move it. That's one of the really nice things about this business. Like what yours, that's an amazing story. I love it. And I don't think I sound as altruistic as all the rest of you, make the world a better place. I do that in other parts of my life. So it's really good for you guys to remind me that we have some real heartfelt reasons to be here. Thank you.
Mhm. Excellent. Thank you.
I have a question for you. I'm sorry, but your name is not up on the screen, and I already forgot your name. Did you just spoke?
June, like the
June.
month.
Okay. Have you been to Costa Rica?
No, my sister-in-law is from Costa Rica, and I've been hearing for years, and I can't wait. And we've canceled and rescheduled because of COVID. And
Yeah.
eventually part of my family will move there, and I may end up moving there too.
I suggest this. I've been going since 1990, actually, but for the last 10 years, every year. It's the peninsula, the west part of the country is lovely, and it's a blue zone, so that's where people live longer than 100 years. It's one of the 5 blue zones in the world. And so if you go anywhere, stay away from San Jose, the capital. Go out in the country, and the west coast, the peninsula is lovely. So that's just a suggestion for you.
In some of our work,
value here today.
Right.
in some of our work for World Wildlife Fund, they always use Costa Rica as one of the best examples of conservation and
Yes.
wildlife preserves.
Yeah, they want to be carbon neutral by, I don't know, 2030. They're amazing. It's one of the highest biodiversity countries, all kinds of species of animals, all of that. But the downside is there are no shopping centers.
Oh.
It's a rustic place to go to, very much so. It has a high level of illiteracy, like 99% of the population can read because they have no military. So all the money is going towards education and other things, but you don't have the creature comforts of a developed country. So you got to trade off whatever you know.
Cool.
Does Amazon still deliver though? All right, never mind.
Great question.
I have a friend who lives there. I'm gonna ask.
Yeah, please do. Please do. All right, good. Bob, do you want to say what your success is?
Yes, I have 2. In beginning a client relationship, I learned from executive search, you listen. Sit down with someone and say, how can I help you, or what can I do for you? And 2 things have come out. I really like it. I feel the best when one of my clients says, I didn't know about that. And it came from my experience or files. And then the next best one is, I use some of your suggestions in my work or whatever they do. And that just makes me feel good that I may help them move along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. Excellent ways of looking at success. It's good.
All right,
Joe?
if you can get up every day as if it's the last day of your life, but it really is the first day of your life, and you can do whatever the hell you want to do, that is the most wonderful thing in the world. And that is what I've been able to do the majority of my life. I love to help people and I love to fix things. And both of those can be frustrating, but it has been, stop worrying about money. If you're open to being guided to where you need to be, you'll wind up there. Get out of your own way. I've seen so many people and coaches particularly this, worrying about making money. Follow what's inside your heart and you'll get there a lot quicker. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever
Good.
it's worth.
Thank you. Thank you. Fletch, have you said what success is?
I haven't defined it really. I think I'm gonna pass on that one because I agree with what has been said.
Yeah, and
so far.
yeah, that is good. Excellent. So I think we've hit everybody, right? Yes. The next question is, what are the barriers? What are you doing to secure that success? And maybe what are the barriers to success?
Can I start?
Yes, please.
Okay, so what I'm doing to secure that success is, one, being here. I'm taking some time off from my job, which, by the way, I have 18 vacation days because all I did was work the last 2+ years and worked even more after my daughter was diagnosed because there was nothing else for me to do.
Right.
And so I've taken off some time so I can work on my coaching business. Being here, I think if I didn't sign up for that monthly thing, I definitely want to. And getting more involved, in this. And thank you, Heidi, for inviting me. And I'm working with my coach about my limiting beliefs. Because as successful as I've been in sales all my life, I don't know where other than my own 4,000 people on Facebook and 5,000 people on LinkedIn, which is a lot, I know, connections, not every people I know a lot of them, how to actually use that, but get out of it as quick as possible, how to make the ripple much bigger.
When you say get out of it, you mean?
I don't know that only, the only word I can come up with is sell, and that's not really what I mean, but I want to impact people outside of my current network. Get out of that circle. And I have not posted anything on LinkedIn about my coaching yet because I'm connected with many people from my career job.
Yeah.
So I'm being cautious about that.
Sure.
But I recently spoke to my coach about, there is some limiting belief there and we got to get rid of that. So.
Beautiful.
But being here was a huge step in the right
Right.
direction.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a big step. Yeah. Good. Anyone else on? What are you
Yes,
doing?
so when it kind of died I let it die over the summer. I had, we all had other things going on. And for a few weeks, we thought COVID was going to go away and traveled again. But I find whenever I offer group coaching, I make more per hour in a group. And the clients get to pay less. And I always get one-on-one clients as a result. So I offer group coaching, and you probably all do this anyway. I also offer a 30-minute complimentary, which is more like an intake to see if we're compatible. Because you said coachable, not everybody's coachable. And there are people that I've turned down that you've probably all turned down.
Sorry about that.
So doing that 30-minute complimentary helps you, helps me know if we should go forward, if they can go forward. And then like you, I've been in one version of sales all my life, staying with it, following up with them, doing the sales effort of it and talking to them. And the challenge is, is always feeding the funnel.
Yeah. Good. Anyone else?
So what I'm doing is last year I developed an accountability game called Achieve Bet. So I've been taking the majority of this year to do some beta tests with it. I'm an instructor with an online academy, and so we're testing the game for the capacity of, I think that it could be used with other coaches and other instructors, because everybody kind of has something they want their clients to do from what they taught them. But the problem a lot of the time is people don't implement it once they learn it. They just learn it and then forget about it. So we're doing those tests, and now I've finally gotten it to the point where I've got a 90-day coaching program with the game. And so that just got released, and I have a workshop on December 16th. It's the first workshop that I'm doing for this, that basically gets people to understand that they can do their least with habits. And as long as they're doing it consistently, they can get the results that they're looking for. A lot of times we just overthink everything. So my workshop is how you can have time for everything that you want in 5 to 15 minutes, starting with 5 to 15 minutes. And that workshop then will get them to understand why they want to play my game of a cheap bet. And I'm hoping to fill up my course with those workshops. The workshop in itself is a little bit of a test because I had done some training with a guy named Colin Boyd that explains how through your presentation, you're basically coaching people to understand why it's important. So by the time you get to the offer at the end, they already know they want it. It doesn't really matter how much it is. So that is what I'm testing out because like has been mentioned already, my limiting beliefs are definitely around sales and doing that closing. And so I've really focused the last couple of months on learning how to increase that skill. And now I'm going out to test it out.
Yeah, I suggest eliminate the word close
Okay.
from your vocabulary. And you'll be much more successful without being a closing. Yes, doctor?
Yes.
You just help people. They'll get there all by themselves if you're doing the right thing. Okay.
Thank you.
Especially based on your passion about what you're doing.
Yeah, good. Any other concepts on what are you doing to secure the success and what are the barriers?
So I'll share.
Yes.
I am right now being consistently persistent, like you mentioned. I want to make sure that I am doing all the things that I feel like I need to do. I have a wall at home where I kind of write down ideas and goals and things like that. And like we talked about, a lot of times we'll learn things, but we won't implement them. But life gets in the way, the day to day. I won't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. Then tomorrow you say the same thing, and then we look up 3 months later and nothing's moving forward. So I am constantly and intentionally focusing on that and being mindful of that and making sure that on a day-to-day basis that I'm at least taking a couple of steps forward. Because even the journey of 1,000 miles starts with 1 step. So every day I'm just trying to eat that elephant 1 bite at a time, if you will. I'm looking, like I mentioned, for partnerships and networking and just getting my message out there. I guess I have some form of self-limiting beliefs when it comes to sales as well, which is why in a past career I got into sales because I wanted to learn how to do better. And I realized that every day, even if we're not selling a product, we're always selling ourselves. So this business is me selling myself and letting people know, even though I don't have a product like a pen physically, it's more of a service. But I want to let them know, what I'm doing, why I'm passionate about it, and how it can help them accomplish their goals or whatever that may be for them. So I'm working on that and just being open to learn and being receptive to things. Critiques, things like that. I really don't take offense to those types of things. I don't take offense to people disagreeing with me or anything like that. I don't take offense to no's. I now look at no's as 1 step closer to a yes. So those are some things that I'm working on to secure my success. When I look at obstacles that are in my way, my biggest obstacle is probably me. I'm always waking up, trying to look and see how I can get 1 step ahead of the man in the mirror, if you will. Yeah. I'm really focused on this. So I'm not really focused on other people and being jealous or things like that. I'm really focused on trying to do this. Me and time. Time is my biggest obstacle because I can't speed that up. So that's why every day I'm trying to be intentional and take advantage of the day from sun up to sundown. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Beautiful. Good. Well said. Anybody else want to say how they're trying to secure their success, maybe a barrier?
I'll talk about 3 barriers that I've noticed. One is I'm the new kid on the block, from the north too. And so, and I can't go easily to former executive search clients and talk about transitioning into coaching. That's hard and expensive. For a long time, there's been more women in the nonprofit sector, which is my background. And so I'm competing there. Women would prefer to work with women for the most part. And I just have to let it go and use my experience and track record to show people, man, woman, it doesn't matter. And I'm also trying, a third barrier is I'm trying to figure out a workable fee level here in Jacksonville, because I just don't think the fees here, you might see this in the legal business, Doug, are the same as they were for me in New York and DC.
Right. Good, three good points, and particularly the fee level. Particularly if you still think that the fee level in New York is what you should be charging, and maybe it is, but yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll address that in just a minute. Good. Any other thoughts on how to secure your success and the barriers to it? I want to go into niche coaching because I'm finding that as generalists, it's you're in with a bigger pool. I mean, there was a time when I didn't know any other coaches in Jacksonville. And I was very active at the Chamber of Commerce. People down there, they didn't know any coaches. There was and this was about 1993, 94 is when I started using the term coaching, and just didn't know any coaches. I knew that they were doing out in California. My mentor in the National Speakers Association, Richard Haddon, who wrote the book Contented Cows Give Better Milk. And so he was traveling all over the country, all over the world, giving speeches. And so he was saying, well, Doug, what you're doing, they're calling it coaching out in California and up in New York. Look it up on this thing called the internet. And so, sure enough, there was coaching. And so I plugged right in and started saying, okay, yeah, Leonard Thomas, or is it Thomas Leonard, who was the founder of coaching, he said he was sending out the 10 top coaching tips every day. And so he would send out these different topics, but all involving coaching. And so I was really every day I would immerse myself. It's sort of like, eating that elephant one bite at a time, just little tiny bits. And so then what happened was I was looking at this and struggling amazingly, because I came from the financial advising world, and I spent 6 years there and was absolutely had failed miserably at it, mainly because I was giving most of my clients, I didn't believe that whole life insurance was the best program for them for a long-term investment, because it's investing in bonds, and I thought that because bond is what the companies invest in, so I thought the best place would be in equities. And however, the commission on equities is very small. The commissions on whole life insurance is very high, and so it just wasn't working for me at all. Matter of fact, all my clients had money market accounts. I insisted that they create a money market account, which had zero commission. And so I was taking all their money, put it in the money market accounts until they got big enough, and then we would start doing other things. Well, so and so anyway, it was a disaster that was just unfolding, and I had this persistence I stayed in it way too long. But what happened was I started then coaching people, and I went to Pittsburgh for a week. My company sent me up there to learn the Stephen Covey 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And so I became a certified facilitator of that. And none of the other agents wanted it, but all my clients were just loving it. And so that's how I got into coaching, but still as a generalist. And so, and I had met Joe at the time, and he had this organization called Get In, what was it? It was a networking, Get Networking or something.
Oh, Lord, memories, old memories.
Oh, yes, yes, Get Better Connected. How about that? Yes, yes. So, I got Joe to, on, I think it was a Saturday, and went over to his house, and he got out this big flip chart, and he started saying, okay, let's find a niche for you. And I said, oh, I don't need a niche. I'm good for everybody. And so he said, what would you tell your clients? I went, oh, I wouldn't allow them to say that, you know. And so he said, okay, let's look at your current clientele and what you like about them, you know, which one's really working. He had several criteria. I don't know if you remember the criteria, but one of them was, are they profitable for you? And it was a grid that he created with different columns. So he said on a scale of 1 to 10, how profitable are they? How much fun are they? How much do they think that they got something out of it? And I've forgotten some of the other columns that he had. So we started going down and putting up, and it turns out that professionals was really where I was heading. And specifically, then it turned out to be attorneys. I didn't have any attorney clients at the time, but I could tell I'd had attorney clients previously in my previous industry. So on this sheet, it really became really clear that, okay, I was going to be focusing on attorneys. And once I did, and I was 2 or 3 years into the coaching already. At that time, no attorney clients. As soon as I said, okay, I'm going to focus on attorneys, within a month or two, I had my first attorney client, and then another month or two, bam, 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 just started 2 or 3 more, and it just started growing very quickly. So I'm a big believer in niche marketing, knowing how to deliver a program to a certain group makes a huge difference. And to this day, I still work with honest lawyers that want to make boatloads of money. With Heidi's help, we're just joining the Jacksonville Bar Association for this next year, and we'll be doing booths there, and we'll really be focusing on attorneys and continuing that process. Yes. Mm-hmm.
2 things. Haddon,
Yeah.
I knew him years before you did. He was a programmer.
Oh, I
So
never
at some
knew that.
point, he followed his passion and
Yeah.
wrote a book
Uh-huh.
and met you.
Yeah, yeah.
The other thing is he using the best that I've ever heard? How Doug Wilder destroyed my business. Is he still using that?
No, he's not. I haven't heard that ever.
No,
Oh,
yeah.
there was an attorney in town. Doug went in and struck him, architect in town, and fixed him, but he would go around selling, oh God, Doug destroyed my business, but I love him for it.
Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah, yeah. The architect had 5 or 6 employees. He had his own little shop over there in Riverside, and was just going gangbusters and just loving it. And we were thinking, okay, to really grow your business, he was thinking, I want to have 7 locations, one in the Bahamas, but he doesn't like to fly. So I'm thinking, okay, how's this going to work out?
Oh, that's funny.
And he had Winn-Dixie as an account. So he was doing all the rehabs of the Winn-Dixies. And but the things that were bothering him the most was working with his employees. That's what he really didn't like. He loved doing the architectural work. And so one day he just decided, okay, I'm gonna let everybody go. I'm gonna go home, work from home, work on the Winn-Dixie account. And we found better jobs for all the employees. I wish that he had called me first, because then we could have even sold his business or done other things, but instead he just all of a sudden just up and said, okay, Doug, you've destroyed my business and we're going to go back to what I really love. So he wrote me this really nice letter. I can give you the letter that he wrote. Yeah, interesting point. So niche marketing, and it sounds like you all have chosen a niche, or you're getting close to choosing one. And I think it's extremely important. When you look at your niche, is it profitable? And I think that's another thing too, or how can it be profitable? And because if it's not going to be profitable and you've chosen a niche, for a while I chose music industry, because my wife is in the music industry. And so that just absolutely was not going to be profitable for me, because they do not, very few people in the music industry have either. It's just, so that's the, so my recommendation is figure out one that can be profitable. That's sort of why I chose attorneys. Attorneys have huge profit potential if they get out of their own way. And so there was that. And there was also, lawyers can't just tell anybody else that they've got a problem. They can't tell the judge, they can't tell their employees, they cannot tell their spouses that they have a problem. They, in general, are, and they can't tell their clients that they have a problem. So they're alone. And so the idea then is I become a sounding board. And lawyers have all proven that they can choose a goal and go toward it and get it, because every one of them have gone through law school and passed the bar. So great target market for me, just tremendous. And if I had not chosen that, I don't think I ever would have lasted or made it in this business. Okay, so highly recommend finding a niche, and then developing a program to fit that niche or niche. We once had a whole program at Athens Cafe at Coach Jacksonville on whether you call it niche or niche.
Oh, it's funny.
Depends on where you're from.
You don't come
So designing a program around it. So, what is it the lawyers want? What is it that people who are trying to achieve success? Women who, women who are having, who have been uncoupled, who are stuck, how do they do it? Real estate, you start thinking about each one of the speakers who, CEOs and executives who want to have a voice, what is it that what kind of program do they need? And then you design a program around it, and you're very intentional with it. And I just think that's where the real success comes in.
My training calls those discovery sessions.
Yes.
When you're not maybe specifically doing the classic life coaching, but a topic. And I have a whole series of topics, and I'll do powerful pricing strategies, and I'll do sales and marketing strategies, and I'll do closing the home stage or sale, and developing my thesis project for my graduate, to graduate. I was like, my husband's like, you're 64. Why are you working this hard? Let me just finish. But my thesis was using a values and needs exercise, identifying people's best parts of their best selves and coming up with a unique marketing message that's a reflection of their best selves. So, because if you stop, I'll use if you stop a home stager, waiting on the cold cut line in Publix, I always run into, there a half hour. So I always run into real estate agents I want to talk to. And you say, well, what do you do? Like you're a home stager, what do you do? So I do vacant, I do occupied, I do hands-on. And it's like bullet points, but that didn't tell anybody anything about yourself. So we'll come up with a unique marketing message that's a reflection really of who they are based on their values and needs, and create an elevator speech that can be used in writing or verbal or whatever that nobody else can repeat. So it's not just a series of bullet points. So when I set up these discovery sessions, which are the group coaching, and they don't really know that I'm weaving coaching all through it, to by the time we're done, they want to continue with coaching.
Yes. Yes. And I think, and as you do like the values and needs, and you create a way of conveying that to people, particularly if you can put that in some type of written form or one of the things I found, I was talking to a lot of people about the 7 Habits program and different pieces of it. The emotional bank account, for instance, was one that I would give to my clients often, but I was just mainly just talking about it. And then actually it was Joe again said to me a year later or so, said, Doug, you need to get all those things out of your head and put them in a notebook. And so I started putting them in a notebook. And so first it was just marketing strategies and then a few relationship things. But now it's 110 pages or so,
125.
125. See, it's growing all the time. And there's emotional bank account, under relationships. There it is,
Do you certify people?
Yes, yeah. And so, all these different lessons, and now Caroline's made this pretty too. Because first
It's all in Microsoft Word and just text on a page.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You do that?
Very nice.
Yeah. All these different things, but it's things that Joe had said, you got to get out of your head and get on paper. Otherwise,
I'm not a very good coach. I just pay attention.
Yeah.
And Doug had to get out of his own way. And because I knew Doug, and because he's a Capricorn, and he's this kind of guy, in a nice little box. Okay.
Capricorn.
Then it was like, okay, and that's what led to that initial thing.
Yeah.
You needed just a way to get it all together. And look what you did.
Yeah.
He likes to think. Somebody's got to tell him to do.
Right. That's right.
And give him a little something to do it with.
Yeah.
And that's why, I've hired a doer, Caroline.
An Aries.
Yeah. And what I've asked now, Carmen and Bob, is the notebook outline. Yeah. Did you already send this to them, by the way?
I can add it to the
Okay.
chat.
All right, great.
You put stuff in
so,
the chat there.
So there's a notebook outline, and this is just where it's morphed into.
Great.
And this has made it so easy to not only coach people, but also in the marketing also. Because then I actually, which I don't have as a handout, but one of the things we created early on was notebook checklist. So every one of the exercises in here is on the checklist. So, and it's a checklist so that my clients can go down and say, okay, here's the things I want to make sure I cover. And it just has made it so easy. So I'm suggesting that whatever your ideas are, the more and more you can start collecting them and putting them into the book. I've asked Heidi to give me, some of her lessons, and she's given me 4 so far. They haven't made it to the book because we haven't really figured out how to do that yet.
Mhm.
If it's a matter of me, what is this, procrastinating? Oh, Doug's how to stop procrastination. Okay, I need to work on
Oh,
that.
bringing that up, how are you doing on this book?
Yeah, great question. How are we doing on this?
Okay, so one of the promises I made to at Coach Jacksonville at the beginning of the year was I would have a book by the end of this year. And so I have got another 3 weeks.
I was gonna say, you do have a calendar, right?
Yes,
You
yes.
should know when the year ends because that's his birthday.
And it's my birthday too, December 31st. So, we're going to get it done. And actually I've written 4 chapters. I did end up losing it, but I made a copy before I lost it, so I can reestablish it. It's a little thing, little problems. And I've interviewed 3 of my clients. And that is, and it's on, the name of the book is Doug's De-Stress Tools, or it could be Wilder De-Stress Tools. I think we'll probably go with Wilder De-Stress Tools. That's the.
I'm gonna say go with Wilder because you're Wilder Business Success.
Yeah, sure.
So
Yeah.
just Wilder De-Stress.
Right. Okay, Wilder De-Stress Tools. Doug's De-Stress Tools was something that
It's in the notebook.
the guy who wrote Energy Bus.
Just saw him. Just
Yeah,
talked to him. Jeez, he lives in Ponte Vedra.
Yeah, right. That's right. Anyway, he told me use Doug's De-Stress Tools. Told me that 15 years ago. So, but yeah, okay. So Wilder De-Stress Tools. There's going to be a. I'm used to coming at the end. I was born on December 31st, so right at the end. So I'm used to coming at the end. So I'm going to be. I still am committing by the end of the
tax deduction.
Your tax deduction, yes. Also, I've got Dr. Sean Orr, neurologist, is going to be writing about the chemistry part of it, and then also Dr. Drew Edwards is going to be talking about the psychological standpoints of these Wilder De-Stress Tools. So, yes, thank you for asking about that. Yeah. So what I'm suggesting to all of you is take your ideas, start putting, if not a notebook, somehow putting it together where you can start transmitting this to people, and it just becomes so easy. And my clients are loving being able to say, okay, we're going through a notebook, sometimes in order, sometimes not. Sometimes they'll get started and say, oh, we need to de-stress, or I need to work with my employees on some particular matter like engagement, employee engagement, and so then we'll dive right into that part. So there are. So I'm suggesting put together your system. Your system also then creates by having this. It's helped with my marketing. So I'm suggesting that you create a marketing program. For instance, with lawyers, I started in 2004, 2005. I started the Jacksonville Lawyers Roundtable. So I'm in essence the only non-lawyer there, but I organize it, I run it. So we meet now. We're meeting at Athens Cafe. Now we meet at Fogo de Chão, and it's great because I get to meet all the lawyers that come. Plus, anytime I'm seeing a lawyer, I can say, "Oh, by the way, you want to come to Jacksonville Lawyers Roundtable? What's that all about?" And then we get into a discussion, and it becomes a marketing concept for me also. Okay, so find your niche, figure out how to market it. Pricing is another thing. I have found that with pricing, there's four. There's a book out called Marketing Strategies. I believe it's called Marketing Strategies. How to dominate your market, and what it says is, and if we need that, just give me contact me, and I'll pass it on to you. My alarm clock's going up to let me know how much time I have. Another 10 minutes. So when we're looking at at marketing and there's 4 different ways of deciding how you're going to do your pricing. One is, first of all, think of, is that going to be your strength, low prices? And is it quick turnaround? Often that's called efficiency. Or is it going to be customization? And the 4th category is non-customized, but the best. And if you're non-customized, but the best, or if you're customizing, then price doesn't matter. And it's sometimes best not to even mention, oh, we got low prices, or we're running a deal or something like that, because it gets people thinking about money, where what they really want to think about is how are they going to solve their problem. And so, and I happen to choose customization was the area I focused on. And so my pricing is customizable. The other thing on pricing I'd recommend is that you come up with a pricing sheet. So, I came up with the Wilder coaching fees, and that just made all the difference in the world, because then someone says, hey, can I, so normally what they say is, after we're talking about it, and they say, oh yeah, I really want this. Okay. And then they say to me, well, how does this work? What they're really asking is, what's it going to cost me? But they say, well, how does this work? And I say, well, I can customize my fee. However, I've got an outline of what I think my fees will be.
What I said about closing, this is his closing because he hates to close.
Yes, I do.
And what he does, he gives them all these, this terrified me the first time I saw it.
Yes.
But it works for Doug.
Yeah.
It fits his personality.
Mm-hmm.
Other people would never use it in the world, but it fits Doug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's been very successful.
Right. That's right.
Did you ever adopt my strategy, my money back guarantee strategy?
Money back guarantee. I've mentioned that to many people.
All right.
I don't have it written down though. You want to give your guarantee?
Yes, I have a money back guarantee with my coaching. I
Yeah.
guarantee that when I get your money, you're not getting it back.
That's so
And I'll put
smooth.
it in writing.
I get paid in advance, and it's
Non-refundable.
Yeah, yes,
That's
yes.
exactly.
I do say non-refundable on here too. I do give the concept. Part of the issue here is for coaches that the fee becomes part of the reason they're going to continue to do it. And if you get paid a lot of money up front, as I do, then what happens is that becomes, then they say, oh, I've already paid it. Okay, I'm going to continue to do it. Okay. Yeah. One of my clients is a chiropractor. And so I recently decided, okay, I'll go to him and see, you can just get a few adjustments. So he said, well, here's the package. Oh, okay. So I went ahead and committed to the whole package. Well, so at any point I'm thinking, well, do I really want to go? Well, I've already paid it. Okay, yeah, go. So I'll continue to do it. So that's sort of the kind of concept with this too. If you pay on the way in.
Doug,
Yes.
excuse me for interrupting.
Sure.
Could you explain a little bit? You say you get some money up front. Is that like a retainer, or what is that?
Great question. Almost always I get paid in advance, and the advance is either it's on the whole. What most people get from me is 40 hours. And for 40 hours, if I'm charging hour by hour, I'm $400 an hour. But if they pay me 40 hours up front, it's $200 an hour.
Mhm.
And these, by the way, these are my 2020, still says 2020 up there. So I haven't updated these yet. And so if they write me a check for $8,000, now I give them 40 hours. And that's actually the way most of them do it, because they say, oh, that's the cheapest rate you got. Okay, yeah, sure, great.
I will take payment plans.
Yes.
I will
yes.
say, okay, give me half now and half halfway through, because if they don't pay the balance, they don't get the balance of the coaching.
Right.
So I've protected myself.
Yes.
But I know this little market niche. It'll change when I get into the ADD, ADHD, but I just need to say something.
Yes.
As a serial entrepreneur, make sure you know your costs.
Right.
When you set your pricing, and that's one of the things that I do in a discovery session, because again, these people are so busy making things pretty, they have forgotten to deal with the realities of what does it cost you? And the way I put it is, if you're out of 3 months, all right, so we all lost X number of months business from COVID. When we have a hurricane here, I lose a month of business.
Mhm.
You know, if you are out of business 3 months, I had a knee replacement a few years ago. Couldn't work for 2 months.
Sure.
If you are out of business for 3 months, how much money do you need in the bank to cover all your costs for those 3 months? And we have to be able to do that too.
That's right. Yes.
And so I start with costs and then I back into everything
Yeah.
else.
Excellent. Excellent way to do
And
it.
also, how much did it cost you to get there? Like, as a designer, people are like, well, how do you justify charging this much an hour? Well, I went to school and I spent all these hours getting this experience so that, okay, only it took me an hour, but it only takes me an hour because I invested 100 and, however many hours in it. And that's the same for you guys with your training and all that stuff.
Doug, I can share something that was
Yes.
helpful to me, so
Yes.
maybe it would be helpful to someone else, is when I did my career coaching certification was with Dan Miller. He wrote a book called 48 Days to the Work You Love. He's subsequently written books. One's called No More Dreaded Mondays. I like that one the best.
Yeah.
But 48 Days was the certification, and his program, he was certifying people all over the country, all over the world actually at the time. And you go to his place in Tennessee and you take the week-long class and get certified, and then you go out and you sell it, and you get a box from him that as a certified coach that you sell. And literally, this was a breakthrough for me when he explained this to us. And he said, I have people that put these on successfully and charge $48 a piece for the 6-week class. And he said, I have people that put these on for $4,800 and fill up their classes with the exact same material.
Yes.
And so the question was asked to him, because he did Dave Ramsey's career coaching side for a while. They're buddies. They're both in Tennessee. And he said, I said, well, how do you run your schedule? I asked, I was like, I want to know how you do it. He said, here's the thing. I can coach 9-10 people one-on-one per month, period. And when my schedule gets to 9, I raise my fee. At that time, gosh, 10 years ago, it was $9,000 a month to coach one-on-one with him.
Yeah.
And he said, I go up a minimum of $1,000. I get a couple people drop out, and when I get back up to 8, 9, I raise my price again.
Right.
And it's retroactive. It's to his active clients as well.
Yeah.
And he had such a humble demeanor and was so effective that he just exuded a life of no stress. And he was very successful. And that was the breakthrough for me, because I have a real hard time being that self-confident.
Right.
It takes a lot of work to go back and do what you just said, is to realize that I earned the wisdom that I am sharing, not only by reading books and watching YouTube, but by living it every day. And that has a value to me. And if you don't see that value, then it might not be the right thing. I do the same thing. The first is a complimentary conversation that we have to see if this is a good fit for both of us. And I thought I'd share that because it was helpful to me.
Excellent.
Yeah,
That's
that's-
awesome.
Yeah, great thought. We all have self-limiting ideas and thoughts, and part of that is, and that's part of the reason for this organization is to spur us on, inspire us to keep going and to do the things that we actually think when we first wake up in the morning, think, oh, this is a great idea. If you don't implement it during the day, then okay, it wasn't. So it was a great idea. That's never going to be implemented. And so the idea is to take those ideas, and June's exactly right. Take a cash flow picture of exactly where you are and exactly where you want to be, cash flow projections, and say, now, if I get these clients, is the bottom line going to be okay? And most coaches are not willing to look at the numbers because they're not numbers people.
That's right.
And so if, usually you're people and not numbers. And so, and force yourself to take a look at the numbers. I went, as soon as I did that, I went from $75 an hour up to, I don't know, was it 150 when I started off? And then it just grew from there. So here we are, we got 2 minutes left. I just want to say, if you haven't, first of all, I would suggest you create an action plan. So, what are the steps that you're going to take? And I'd like us to go around and say, what's the best thing from this Coach Jacksonville meeting today? So, any thoughts on that?
I learned another word to drop from my vocabulary.
Good.
I come to these meetings because I always meet really cool people.
I
I
love
mean,
it.
really, y'all are from everywhere doing everything. It is so nice.
I love it.
Good.
I learned two things. One, I probably have to define my niche a little more. And that it's nice to be out and about since I work from home all day,
Yeah.
every day by myself, tethered to my desk.
God.
You're like a kid in the candy store. Right now.
I know. This is fabulous.
I
Good.
am. It was so
Yeah.
nice to get dressed up and yeah.
Yeah. I know. That's great. Good. You're welcome.
And we used to work in an office until
Uh-huh.
COVID. And I moved downtown. I live on the river and our office was in the Prudential building and I
Yeah.
moved so I could walk. And then 3
Sure.
weeks later,
Yeah.
I was stuck.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And she's got a great YouTube channel. Is it YouTube or TikTok? I see you all the time. Okay.
Oh, neat. Okay, good. We'll have to hear from that. Yeah.
I'll have to work
Super.
on that more. Thank you.
Anybody else have an idea of what's the best thing they got from this meeting?
Just remind me that we are do-gooders at heart. You can tell I come from a business point of view always. And I talk from the numbers, but I'm actually kind of equal, right brain, left brain, very,
Yes.
very equal. But thanks for the reminder that we're all here to do good.
Yeah, good. Yes. TR?
I like Joe, enjoyed meeting just like minds, but similar, but not the same, if you will. We all have our own individual specialties and lanes that we're in, but like June just mentioned, we're all kind of bound by that core belief of, trying to do better, trying to do good outside of ourselves and for ourselves as well. And then also one of the things that you mentioned, Doug, which was creating a product specific for my target market, like you do with the Lawyers Roundtable.
Yeah.
It's something that kind of is like a light bulb, sparked an idea in my head. So I'm going to go home and process all this information. And that's definitely something that's going on my wall. A couple ideas.
I love it. Good. Bob, do you have anything?
Yes, I was in the consulting business for 40 years. So some of this is just a different version of what I've seen over those years. But I did like the pricing idea of really looking at marketing strategies. And those 4 things, Doug, that you outlined, I thought that's something I haven't seen before. So I was really happy to see that.
Excellent. Good. Yes. Joe?
I think I said that.
You didn't have to start.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm going to dive in just with
Yes.
saying it, meeting people and listening always makes me better. I mean, it was great to hear your guys' stories. Can't wait to hear your music. Can't wait to hear more about ADD coaching, except I already forgot about it. And I was ADD before it even got popular.
Are you meeting again in January?
Yes, that's actually where I was about to bring us. If we want to do it to January 3rd, so it's right after the new year. So the question is everyone available and wanting to do something that close to a holiday? Sometimes we skip the first one of the year, but that.
I'll be in Miami for my birthday.
Okay.
With my daughter, with my law school,
Nice.
my law school
Your
daughter.
law school daughter. That's terrific. Good. So we won't see you.
Will not be.
How about the
Join
rest
us
of you?
online.
I can,
Yeah, you
actually,
get it.
I might be able to hop on Zoom while she's driving or something,
Mm-hmm.
because I think we're leaving that day. So,
Yeah, yeah, good.
Mine already. has
Let me know.
Coach Jackson
There you go.
calendar,
Yeah,
so-
you've already got Coach Jackson's schedule. So it's okay with everybody if we do the Coach Jacksonville?
And
That's
does anyone
okay?
have any topic ideas for next month that they're interested in hearing about or presenting for themselves?
I'm doing my, I've done it here once before, but no one in the room I think was here. I have one of my favorites, which is how to talk good.
Yeah.
Aha.
Remember that one, Doug?
I do remember it, yeah.
You gave me several edits, so it's even better now.
I love it. Good. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. All right, good. Yeah. Any other ideas?
Ideas, yeah.
Because we've got a full year to plan for
Mhm.
2022.
What about like, sales funnels?
Sales funnels, yeah. Great. Mhm. Good. All right. If you think of something, feel free to send Caroline or to myself some thoughts on what you would like as topics. If you have any questions on anything that I've had, or if you want to see anything, feel free to just let me know. I share fluidly.
I'll make one suggestion.
Yes.
Focusing on prospecting for new clients.
And
Take at least half of that energy and focus on prospecting for people who are in a position to refer people to you.
Always.
Tipping point, yeah.
And then get better and better and better at that.
Yeah.
Then you'll not have to worry about the first ever.
True. Thank you.
good. Referral influencers. Okay, great. Might be a good topic to talk about sometime too. Good. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for coming. Thank you, Bob, online. And
Wonderful.
I have something quick just to
Yes.
mention.
Yes.
On the Coach Jack site, there's a coaches directory.
Yeah.
So if
Oh,
you haven't
yes.
put your coaching business on the directory, make sure to go to the website and add your information.
Mhm.
I saw that. I have another website coming up. I was waiting to add the new website.
Good. Yeah, and Fletch, this is a new one from the old one. So the old one went away. When we.
Which one did I just fill out? Like
What if he's already on it?
He's already
Am I on the new one?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. All right, great. Well, thank you all for
This
coming
is
and
awesome. Thank you
Great
so
day.
see you
much.
next month.
Thank you,
Have a great
everybody.
day.
Take care.